Hi everyone, Alva Psych here. I have a video for you today for informational purposes only on mental contamination. And I've taken information from studies from Frontiers in Psychology, metacognitive beliefs predict greater mental contamination severity after an evoking source, mental contamination, coping and PTSD symptom severity following sexual trauma. That was actually a thesis by Tipsword. And of course, I always give my take as well. So let's jump into this from Frontiers in Psychology. There's mental contamination and there's contact contamination. Now, contact contamination from Frontiers in Psychology is defined as occurs when there are concerns of dirtiness, endangerment, infection, or pollution following physical contact with a source. Okay, so that's contact contamination. Okay, so what's mental contamination? So mental contamination occurs when individuals experience feelings of internal dirtiness and distress in the absence, okay, that's the key word, in the absence of physical contact with a contaminant. Okay, so many of us know that individuals that are dealing with obsessive compulsive disorder may suffer from mental or emotional contamination. But we're finding, based upon the study that was referenced in Frontiers in Psychology, that women who experience sexual trauma frequently report mental contamination. Okay. Now, if you've seen gritty police shows, you probably know that one of the first things that an individual wants to do who is sexually assaulted, the first thing they want to do is, go and clean and wash, himself or herself. Now, feelings of dirtiness may contribute to avoidant coping that maintains mental contamination and distress surrounding images, memories, and thoughts. So indeed, following sexual trauma, women report mental contamination and avoidant coping, for example, cleansing behavior after trauma recall. That was taken from one of the articles. Now, I did a video on that I called Washing Away Anxiety, in which the authors and researchers of the study I presented indicated that physical cleaning, in which a person removes residue and dirt, etc. The authors talk about separating, residue from the body. This triggers a psychological form of separation, separating the residual influence of past experiences from the present. And the researchers found that the participants that imagined cleaning themselves had less anxiety than other participants. So, now if I'm an individual experiencing mental contamination, working with a therapist versed in trauma treatment may be something to consider. As for avoidant coping, that may be where the person is, at that point in time. Perhaps a person can start with something like physical cleaning and working to, imagined cleaning before, they get to a point where no cleaning is necessary. But that would be between the therapist and, the client, the individual, in terms of how they are going to proceed. And as I mentioned a lot in my trauma videos, going solo with dealing with some of the traumatic events, has some pitfalls. So you do want to be mindful of that fact as well. Okay, and that is it.